Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. Welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Arrow Season 3, Episode 2, Sara. I'm your host, Clio, and welcome to the podcast. Yeah, this episode started out real heavy. Just dead body on the table. Everybody walks in, it's like, oh, what do we do? I was really shocked that obviously, Laurel was going to turn to Ollie, but I just didn't know she would just be there with her sister's dead body, which she must be strong enough to just lift her up with the arrows sticking out of her chest. That must have been a feat. So we're seeing a lot of parallels between Laurel and her father, and we've got it before with her alcoholism and her just general need to be doing things for the common good, but we're definitely seeing it now again with her rage and her need to be out in the field, because we've seen Captain Lance, previously Detective Lance, in previous seasons just being very angry and angsty and all of that stuff, and we're seeing that from Laurel now. Just like Captain Lance couldn't sit on the bench last episode, Laurel can't do that either. We even go as far as to see her at the end of the episode with the Black Canary jacket in her hands. I mean, we've known this for a while, of Laurel being the next Canary, and I think now it's like carved in the tree. It's written in stone right now. Definitely with Sara's death, Laurel's gonna be able to focus her rage in a way she never could before, because it's not like she was law enforcement like her father, where he could go and catch the bad guys and do all that cathartic stuff out in the field. She was the DA. She worked to put criminals away, but she never had that sort of catharsis from her job in the same kick the ass of the bad guys sort of way. It was the legal side of it, which is not as cathartic, viscerally cathartic. So from the moment the gang walks in on the dead Sara, everyone's visibly shaken. And to an untrained eye, you would think Ollie was not shaken. In fact, he was. The same, if not more, than most of those in the room. But, he's Ollie, and he's gotta hide it, he's gotta force it back because he's the Arrow, and at the end of the day, he has to do his job and can't do it if he's all over the place and fueled by his emotions, which is incredibly ironic, since a lot of his decisions are based on his fears and his emotions, which I said last episode, and this episode is no exception, because I will get to it later because it's written in my notes, but boy is he a hypocrite. And Diggle tries to reach out to him. Diggle tries to reach out to him on an emotional level, and Ollie's just like, crime scene, blah blah, and Diggle's like, you gotta just be a person. Stop being this ball of vigilantism. You gotta be a person. And Felicity has the same conversation with him. She's like, you can't just, you gotta, don't blame me for having emotions when you don't got them. She's like, you gotta show them, or, you're not human. And I think Ollie's just full of excuses, and he needs to stop. So it's Laurel's decision not to tell her father that her sister's dead. That's not gonna go over very well. I can tell you that right now, because Detective Lance is a very emotional guy. Like, he's got a lot going on. all the time. So, I already said that it's Laurel's idea not to tell her father about her sister's murder, which is going to backfire, especially in the end when she tells Ollie she's gonna tell her father, and then she doesn't, and yeah, they have that whole heart to heart, and she's about to tell him, and then she's like, she takes it back because of what her father says. Her father says, you don't have to take those risks. Your sister does that enough for you too. It's like, oh no, she doesn't, and that's I think when Laurel is just like, she's not there to take those risks anymore. She's not going to be able to do those things, and there's a vacuum there that I can fill. And Laurel sees that as an opportunity to take her sister's shoes, to live up to her memory and be the Black Canary and do the things that her sister can no longer do. And I think she's really gonna want to train and be as good as the rest of Team Arrow. Okay. And what I failed to mention last episode was that we got a glimpse of Wildcat at that boxing match in the first episode. Now in the comics, Wildcat teaches Black Canary a lot of what she knows. And I think with this, with Laurel on the verge of being the next Black Canary, she's going to maybe take some lessons from Wildcat, because Ollie's definitely not going to let her put on the mantle of Black Canary like that. It's not gonna happen. He's too in his head. Like, he's too, like I said, ruled by fear and emotion, and he's gonna let those drive his decisions. And he's gonna be very no, no, no to Laurel. So my prediction is Wildcat might make his way into the story, and Laurel will be his student, perhaps. It's just a theory. They could have only, they might have only teased Wildcat just like as a little, like, hey, look at this, it's nice. But I have a feeling he may come in as a bit more of a player as Laurel takes the necessary steps to becoming Black Canary. Captain Lance didn't go to his own daughter's funeral. And it was just I mean, at least she got a tombstone. Like, Laurel was going on about how it wasn't fair that she doesn't really get a proper burial, and I mean, it kind of was a proper burial. It wasn't proper in the sense that all of her loved ones were there to see it, but it was proper in the fact that they did bury her. She had a wooden coffin, and she got some respect there. But I think it's going to be a very big problem, and a little hard for Captain Lance to forgive Laurel for not telling him that his daughter was buried and dead. It's a big deal. Felicity comes and just lays it into Ray. Just like sort of yells at him, tells him he's a creep and he's a dick and all this stuff. But Ray sees. He knows that something else is wrong because he's used to people being mad at him. Because guess what? He's a dick. It's what happens. It's a job hazard. He's not really a bad guy. I mean, he does want good for the city. He does want to help people. He really does. But he just comes off with this arrogant, know-it-all kind of vibe. And definitely not what Felicity needed in this time. So in chasing the lead of the dead businessmen with arrows in their chests, Ollie goes to the scene of a murder for one of those businessmen, and this punk tries to run away. And it was my favorite part of the episode because he jumps up and is like hanging on a thing and is slowly like pulling himself up when Ollie just like punches him in the dick. And obviously, after being punched a couple times, the kid gives up everything. It's like the guy was wearing a mask. And it's very convenient that of all the assassins in Argus's database, dozens of them having bows, this is the only guy who wears a mask. So that's too convenient. But anyway, I don't even think we hear him referred to as his codename Komodo at all in this episode. But that's his codename. His codename is Komodo, but his Some French piece of crap name. No offense, French people. I love the French. Simon Lacroix. With an X. I don't know, it's fucking French. So Laurel uses her connections. She lies to the cop guarding the businessman, the businessman who survived, guarding his hospital bed, and uses her connections. And not only does she like abuse her connections, but then she's in there and like breaks the guy's arm further. And yeah, she's you know, this is her rage, and it's a little bit unfocused right now. But she does manage to get useful information out of him before Komodo just fucking snipes him from the freaking building across. He must have like the dopest or like the most composite strength bow ever to go from that distance through glass. But Laurel's definitely gonna get in trouble if she keeps abusing her connections like that. I have a feeling she might not stay in the DA's office, especially if she takes up the Black Canary, because you know that's a pretty intense job to then also be a vigilante. So I have a feeling she's not going to stay in the DA's office. Laurel gives them the information she got from the businessman before he got murked, and they trace it to a benefit. And Ollie's face when they see that it's Ray Palmer's benefit is priceless. He's just like, it's like his face is saying, why couldn't it literally be any other person in this fucking city? But he's still sort of like, I don't want to deal with you right now. I got enough on my plate. Fucking, I don't want to deal with your sass. Sort of determined to take this guy, Lacroix. Yeah, Lacroix. Take him down on his own. And, it's just, he failed already. Like, oh, I didn't mention the fucking ridiculous motorcycle fight scene, which is a little ridiculous even for Arrow, but, moving on. But he failed. And I mean, yes, this time he took Roy with him, but, when Laurel wanted to come, he really just dismissed her. And he knows he needs Laurel's help, but he's not willing to let her in the field. And he does have a point. Her sister was trained by the best assassins in the world, and she was herself one of the best assassins in the world. But Laurel really does have something to bring to the table. She is able to fight. We've seen it before. So, yeah. It's just another example of Ollie thinking with his fears and his emotions than I guess pure logic. Or pure, I don't know. He needs to use his brain more. That's all I'm saying. And then goddamn Laurel just like busts in with her pistol. And it's like, what the fuck is you doing, bitch? I mean, it's one thing to help, and it's another thing to bust in and be like, I'm gonna straight up murder this punk. Move, please. And then she didn't even check the clip for bullets! She pulls the trigger and the clip is empty. It's like, oh, noob, come on. You know, she's probably just unfocused rage, I think. Hopefully later she'll have a more focused rage and actually be able to get shit done. But in the end, Lacroix did not kill Sara, which means my theory from last episode might still be true. Or one of my theories. I do not think that it is Taya and Merlin anymore who killed Sara, because we see them at the end of the episode training, presumably somewhere in Asia. Can't be sure, but I'm pretty sure that they are not the ones responsible for Sara's death. I do think that it is Ra's al Ghul, because he has been cast. He has been confirmed to be in this season of Arrow. He is going to be played by Matt Nable, who has been in Spartacus and Riddick and stuff. So he's, I think, slated for 1 episode this season, and it's 2 episodes from now. It's called The Magician. And I'm very, very excited to see him. because I think he's coming back with his daughter, who is a great character, was in a relationship with Sara, and is probably going to be really pissed that she's dead, unless she is the one who killed him. In that case, it's a totally different, it's going to be a totally different dynamic, but safe to say, I'm very excited for that episode, because I have other theories for that episode, which I will talk about next week, because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So Ollie finally opens up to Diggle at the end of the episode, and, I forget exactly what he says. But he finally opens up to Diggle at the end, and Diggle's got, like, a very short, quip response for him, which I think is perfect, because... And it's perfect that Ollie opens up to Diggle, because Diggle is gonna give him the advice, and he's gonna say the things that Ollie needs to hear, not what he wants to hear. So it was a good connection to be made, and they're like super bros for life, man, and I love them to death. Bro TP. And Felicity ends up taking the job at Queen Consolidated with Ray Palmer. Her reason is she wants more out of life. And I think it's more like she doesn't want to, like, and I think it's more that she doesn't want to die in that basement, like she was telling Ollie that's what's gonna happen to him if he keeps moping around. And it's not what Ollie wants either. And I don't know what's gonna happen between the two of them, or between her and Ray, but, I don't know. I think there's gonna be some romance drama, fine, whatever, I'm okay with it, but, I just hope it doesn't overshadow other things, because there is clearly a lot more drama to be had in the show than the romance, and I think the romance is the least interesting part of a drama in the show. While I do enjoy that aspect of the show, I think it is the least interesting drama aspect of it. The flashbacks that we're getting this season are in Hong Kong, and we see Ollie and Maceo, who is the man he's staying with in Hong Kong, who's responsible for him to keep him on the track, or his family is in trouble. So he takes him to a roof, gives him a sniper rifle, says that's your target, and it turns out to be Tommy Merlin. Ah! I miss Baby Merlin so much. And that was back when Baby Merlin was a bit of a dick. He wasn't the fully fleshed out Merlin I came to love at the end of season 1. But, you know, getting to see him again was very nice, and I think it's just gonna serve as a foil to Malcolm Merlin, because we're gonna see a lot of him this season, because him and Thea, damn it, him and Taya are gonna play a very pivotal role in this season. So I think it's just to remind us where Malcolm's coming from. So Amanda Waller wanted Tommy dead because he was looking for Ollie, and she can't have anybody thinking Ollie's dead coming to look for him. She doesn't want any of that. Whatever she has in store for Ollie needs to be secret. Maceo tells Ollie, I don't know, you're an operative. She's keeping you for some reason, and it's got to be an important reason. She doesn't do anything for no reason. She's very methodical and crazy. But he uses the word operative, which makes me think she's either using him for Hive or for Argus. So Ollie and Maceo end up tricking Merlin, Baby Merlin, into thinking that Ollie is actually dead, died at sea, and that they were just trying to lure someone with potential and money to basically be used as a ransom in Hong Kong. And it worked, obviously, because Tommy goes back home, and the next we know is that Ollie comes back from the island, and they meet again for the first time. And the last thing I have to say is that they named the baby Sara. I had my composure for the whole episode. Sara was dead. Everyone was crying. I was okay. Like, I was, obviously I had feels. I had the feels, but you know, I had it under control. And then Diggle said, "We named the baby Sara," and I wept like a little baby. I was just something about, you know, memorializing dead people with baby names. It's just like, they did the same thing in Once Upon a Time, and I just, I'm not going to spoil who it is, but they did the same thing in Once Upon a Time, and I just like, oh god! Right in the feels! I said last episode that I was going to read the synopsis beforehand, but I didn't. I didn't really go on that many theory tangents this time, though, so maybe I won't be that embarrassed. So, next week's episode, episode 3, is called Corto Maltese. Oliver searches for Thea in Corto Maltese, while Diggle tracks Argus agent Mark Sean. Ollie decides it's time for Thea to come back to Starling City, so he packs blah blah blah. He goes with Felicity. Wait, with Felicity? Oh, no. Where Felicity has traced Thea's whereabouts. Lila and Diggle. Lila asks Diggle. God damn it, they keep like putting in parentheses and I'm having trouble fucking reading. Lila asks Diggle to go with Oliver because one of her field operatives, Mark Shaw, has gone dark in Portugal's, and she'd like to look in. She'd like him to look into it. Oh my god, I forgot her. He solves it. He solves all the world's problems. Feeling responsible for Thea's departure, Roy joins Oliver and Diggle on their journey. So it's like Team Arrow packs up and goes abroad. Shaw double crosses Diggle, putting numerous Argus agents on the phone, including Lila at risk. Basically, just to do her new job. So, yeah, I don't think this season is gonna start getting boring. It's gonna keep up its pace. I really like it. Don't have much theories for next episode. I'm actually not sure who Mark Shaw is. Sounds familiar, but so yeah, thank you so much for watching. I am Clio. You can find me on the internet at Clio Mono, and you can find all of us and more on ASOTV Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, and right here on YouTube. With an X.